Hey guys, welcome back to another week of Weekly Coldplay. My name is Monica.
My name is Daniel.
And we are a weekly podcast all about...
You guessed it.
Shaheem!
Hey, yo! My man Shaheem.
Yeah, we love you. Because it actually is about Shaheem.
Yeah, we're telling the truth this time, guys.
We are kind of reviewing and talking about Roadies of the Spheres, which was the ColdplayXTRA documentary that they put out about the Roadies.
Yeah, it came out in May of this year, but it was filmed last year in the summer at the Manchester shows. So it's a little bit of old news, but there's not much else going on right now. So we figured it's a good time to talk about it. If you haven't checked it out yet, it's free on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's not very long. It's a very interesting watch. So
yeah. And then we also have tour news, and then we don't have any spoilers or speculation. I think the closer that we're getting to the release of Mood Music landing on October 4th, the more stuff that we don't have to actually talk about.
Hopefully, though, when it does come out, there will be some, secret thing for me to decode and talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're just going to get right into it, talking about Roadies of the Spheres. First of all, it's a great documentary, and you should check it out. It's on YouTube. Right now. Right now on your phones. Yeah.
Yeah, you can look it up and it'll show up.
Yeah.
It was done by ColdplayXTRA.
Yeah. We love them. Yeah. So, we're gonna talk, we're gonna kind of go in depth about this because we got a product time.
Don't tell them that.
No, come on. They know this already.
It's fine. It's really interesting stuff to talk about. Even if you don't feel like watching the whole documentary, we're going to give some highlights. And it's really interesting seeing all the people and all the work that goes into making this show so great.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. So, the first person that ColdplayXTRA talked to was Chris Kanzi. He is the production manager. He does administrative work, coordination, and puts the show on the road. Literally the reason why we see Coldplay.
Yeah, very important Chris.
Yes, a very... Honestly, we gotta rate the importance of Chris's here.
It's hard. I can't figure out which one is more essential.
Yeah. The guy who makes the music or the guy who puts on the show.
You can't really have one Chris without the other.
Yeah, exactly. We love our Chris's here.
Yeah. Speaking of multiple people sharing the same name.
Yeah.
They then interviewed one of the three Matts on this tour, Matt McGinn. He's Johnny's guitar technician. When asked what his favorite part of the job is, he said that I've still got it. Because he was originally just going to be a van driver to, I think, Blackpool for one thing, and ended up just staying on for 23 years.
Probably 24 now.
Yeah, 24 years now.
Yeah, so good for him. And also, I want to mention that he actually wrote a book about his life on the road with Coldplay. It's literally called My Life on the Road with Coldplay.
Oh, yeah, you still need to lend me that.
Yeah, I still need to finish reading it. I got it for Christmas last year, and I meant to read it while I was in the Philippines, but... You know, I was in the Philippines. I was too distracted. But yeah, so if you want to read more about his,
Life on the road with Coldplay.
I definitely recommend picking up that book.
Yeah, he deals with all of Johnny's guitars, of which there are 14 different guitars. They use Nashes, apparently, because they're cheap and easy to get more of, and they sound nice, and no one gets mad at you when you paint on them.
Yeah.
Which begs the question in my mind, if you're using some other brand of guitar, are paint police just coming up to you and being like, you can't paint on these guitars.
Yes, 100%. Yes, 100%. The paint police are coming up.
Alright. He also talks about how there's one acoustic bit, it's the scientist, but Johnny doesn't like to play acoustic because it's not loud enough.
It's so real of him.
Johnny wants to play loud guitar, Will wants to hit the drums hard. You know?
They just want to be loud.
Good for them.
And I'm loud about Coldplay, so really it's a mutual osmosis type.
Yeah, also a very relatable quote from Matt was... he said, "It's funny how I never get bored of it, talking about Yellow and Clocks, which are songs that I've heard now probably more than 100 times.
Yeah,
and
same.
I'm still not bored of them.
Yeah, same. I mean, they're iconic. They're classics.
Yeah.
The next roadie that they talked to was Courtney. She does the bikes and batteries. 6 bikes charge 1 battery, depending on the oomph that people are inputting. There have been no accidents so far.
Mostly because I haven't been to one of the shows so far. Like, fun fact about me, my largest scar comes from a stationary bicycle. Yeah. That was used for charging electronics. So,
yeah.
We know how this is going to end.
Yeah, I think you're going to be banned on bikes.
No, you banned me from too many things.
All right, you can do it, but just don't get injured.
You know, roller derby's about to start.
No, absolutely not.
Next up, they interviewed Becca, who works with Global Citizen. She works with the volunteers through Global Citizen, which is a really cool thing that I think sounds like it would be really fun to do at some point. You can sign up to their newsletter on globalcitizen.org, and they will email you when they're in local cities, and so you can do volunteer work with them with the Coldplay show, and they also have other volunteer opportunities. Global Citizen is our charity this month, and they do a lot of cool things. So it's worth signing up for their newsletter just to see what's going on, but it's a really cool opportunity.
Yeah. Next up is Ant, who is the camera director. There are 10 manned cameras and 3 robot cameras. I got to see one of the robot cameras at the Seattle show because I was literally directly behind it.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, and it was actually really cool to see it go all the way up and then point down to Chris when Chris does the running for the light club bit. And I was like, first of all, this thing is tall. I mean, it goes it's 10 feet tall.
Well, of course you would think it was tall.
yeah, that's also true. But it was very tall, and then to see Chris run while the thing was going, it was just really cool to see. Although it did block the majority of my show.
I love watching Electric Universe doing his running.
Yeah. Yeah, and so, just if you happen to stand directly center of B stage, maybe don't. if you're 4'11", that's my only gripe about seeing Coldplay is I'm too short and cameras are tall.
That was the same show where security guards were blocking your view, right?
Yeah. I'm just short. Okay, that's nobody's fault except my own. I need to get legs. I need to grow legs.
You were tall at the Philippines shows.
That is true.
Yeah.
I was normal height. I was average height in the Philippines, okay? Shout out Filipinos, my people. Talk about people of the pride. That's people of the pride.
Then they talked to Anna Lee. She's the tour photographer. So she takes all those really cool show pictures that we get to see all the time. And that get posted on the Music of the Spheres World Tour app that I can't download on my phone.
Well, I have it on my phone, and it's really cool.
Wow, no need to rub it in.
I am going to.
I can't download that app or the CVS app. Those are the 2 apps my phone won't download.
Oh, sorry. Sorry to your phone.
But yeah, she said she does some planned shots and mixes it with some improvised shots because that's how she can get a lot of the cool shots during the show, is just waiting for the right moment. Mm-hmm. Sometimes she gets to climb, which she says is an unexpected, fun, and terrifying part of the role. She said she averages 1,000 photos per day, including some pre-show stuff, but mostly show pictures, and then tries to get it to 50 to 70 deliverables per day. Which means she's up till 3 a.m. after the show editing.
Yeah, just like me, for real, with this podcast.
But yeah, she said for a lot of the shots, she has to just chase Chris around the stage.
Also, just like me, for real.
I feel like half these roadies jobs involve chasing Chris around and trying to follow his every whim.
Yeah. Yeah, because, the rest of the band is pretty stationary. Chris is the only one running around, literally running around.
Yeah, but, as we're gonna talk about later, Shaheem talks about not just, the physical running around, but just him, switching things up, improvising. Yeah. Very Chris Core.
Yeah. Next, they talked to Ariel, who is involved in the sustainability and part of Green Nation. She talked about a new fuel called HVO for generators and trucks, which they were, which they are using. She also talked about the reusable batteries, and they save like 250 batteries per show. That's a lot of batteries. More batteries than I use in my everyday life. Yeah,
everyday life. Sick Coldplay reference.
I honestly just wanted to slip in everyday life in this podcast. Yeah, I miss her every day. And then oh my god, and then the whole show is on i3 BMW batteries, which are super fancy BMW batteries. She also works with venues to expand recycling, add composting, reduce and eliminate single-use plastics, and adds free water stations and stuff like that. They also provide low-carbon transport options, like walking paths, public transport partnerships, cycling incentives, stuff like that. You can actually see all that. Sorry, Daniel. You can see all that on the app. They actually tell you different ways on how you can get to the show sustainably, which is really cool.
It's fine because we'll go to a show together and then you can check it on your app.
Sure, yeah. And I'll most likely just be walking. I am a very close to the venue girly because I like to go right back and forth.
Yeah, but then buses. You know how I feel about public transportation.
Oh, all right. Well, that could be you. You could have the 4 hotel.
That's too expensive. We can share a hotel room. I can't afford a whole hotel room. What do you think I am?
Well,
Chris Martin.
Maybe you are. Aren't you Phil Harvey?
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Next, they talked with Samara. She's got a very, very cool job. She's the back-of-house apprentice. Basically, that's the closest you can get to being a Coldplay intern.
Yeah.
Not an unpaid intern, because Coldplay's cool. Mm-hmm. She was working for Live Nation's nonprofit Music Forward when she got word from a supervisor about a world tour job opportunity with a band. They couldn't say what band it was, but it's a cool band. So she threw her hat in the ring, kind of forgot about it for a bit, and then found out it's Coldplay. And she got through the interviews, and she actually got the gig. She talks about how cool the job is, which... God, can you imagine being a Coldplay intern?
I feel like I am already, like just with this podcast.
Yeah, like can you imagine following them around on tour?
Oh my god, yes I can. Hey Daniel, I'm gonna break this down to you very easily. I've done that.
Yeah, but not all the shows.
Yeah, but I didn't get paid to do it. That's the thing. I didn't get paid to do it.
Well, they should pay you.
I paid them. I paid them to follow them around.
She talks about a few of the things she does. She talks about some of the inclusivity activities she works with, which are just very cool programs Coldplay has in general. They have touch tours for their visually impaired guests that she gets to be a part of, and she helps distribute the sub packs for hard of hearing and deaf guests that are like the vests that they wear that let them feel the show.
Yeah, shout out Dakota Johnson.
She also gets to work with the planet dancers, which if you didn't know this, the giant inflatable planets at Coldplay shows are actually strapped to local dancers that they hire to just boogie during the show.
Which I didn't know at all.
I didn't know that. Great news. But yeah, she said it's really cool to see like how the style of dance changes as they move from city to city because they're hiring new local dancers every city, which I just think is really interesting that they have the local touch at every show.
I gotta be part of a local dance group. That way I can...
All right, do it then.
Then I can be a planet dancer.
And then you can twerk during Everglow.
Yeah, that's my goal in life is to twerk
Throw it back.
Yes, to twerk during Everglow.
And she was asked about the hardest part of the show. She said there's a lot of pressure because it's a big show. I get that. I feel a lot of pressure on the low-stakes job of doing a retail job and putting things out on the floor. I can't imagine the amount of pressure behind being in charge of something related to one of if not the biggest musical tours ever based on whatever metric you want to go by. And she had a quote I really liked. She said, "The band talks about accepting people as they are, and you really get to see that in the shows." And talked about how just looking out at the people, she could see a lot of different people coming together at the shows and just it becoming a really acceptive, wonderful place where everyone can have a great time and get emotional and be there together, which is, I think, to me, one of the coolest things about this Coldplay tour especially, but live music in general, just as a way of like bringing people together who their paths wouldn't cross otherwise, and for a little bit just everyone being in the same place, having the same special experience. Yeah.
Yeah, Coldplay's real cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love them.
I love them too.
We should start a podcast about them.
Yeah. If only we had a podcast about Coldplay instead of...
About Shaheem.
Yeah. Next, they talk to Yako, who does the barricades and flooring. He drapes, well, not just him, but a whole team, drapes over unsold seats behind the stage. It's called doing a blackout. And one of the places that was difficult was Dallas, because, Dallas sucks. Just kidding. We're from Houston, so you know the beef, alright?
Well, but yeah, Dallas is dairy.
Just kidding. We love Dallas.
Do we? I'm going there tomorrow.
Oh. Let me know how Dallas is.
It's fine. I'll be out in the colony, so not downtown Dallas. Thank goodness.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm sorry. I really don't mean to be, all mean on Dallas, but...
One of my roommates is from Dallas,
yeah.
So I feel like I get a little more leeway. Trash-talking Dallas.
Yeah. Alright, it's just a Houston thing, alright? Anyway, everyone who's listening to this just internationally, it's not gonna get anything. Listen, it's just a beef, alright? It's just beefing.
You're learning about Texas culture.
Yes.
Alright?
Yes, this is very serious stuff down here, alright? Yeah. That's all.
The next person they talked about was Samantha, who, she distributes wristbands. And as of when this was recorded, which was the summer of 2023, their average was at like 85% wristband returns, which is very cool. Just, it's really nice how much people are coming together and doing this thing. Like, I get, like, obviously there's always going to be people who are going to take the wristbands, but I don't know. I just think it's really cool that as such a large group, such a high percentage are making the choice to do the sustainable thing. It really says something about Coldplay fans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out Coldplay fans. And lastly,
but definitely not least,
the man of the hour, Shaheem, the lighting director for Coldplay Music of the Spheres. First of all, well, we love him. That's a very important note.
Yeah, written in our notes.
Yeah.
Very first bullet point.
Yeah.
We love him.
As we mentioned before, Shaheem had mentioned that Chris keeps him on his toes. Because, I mean, you know how Chris can just change his mind on any part of the show.
And
on
you know
anything.
how Chris mumbles.
Yes, exactly. He just goes on and on. Yeah. Anyway, now we're just trashing Chris.
We do that every episode.
Yeah, we love you, Chris.
But we hate you, Chris. Cut that out.
Shaheem develops ideas alongside Phil for all of the wristband effects. Shaheem uses the Pixmob program to program the wristbands, and it's super cool. I mean, I can't say enough about how cool that this show looks, and a big chunk of it is because of the wristbands and because of the hard work that Shaheem has really put into making the wristbands just look cool.
Yeah, the wristbands have become such like an integral part of the experience, and they just keep like getting better and better and better as this tour goes on.
Yeah.
It's so cool. I want to be there.
Yeah, and just like also kind of speaking on like how like the impact of Coldplay and the wristbands are, because like so many other artists do it. Taylor does it. Taylor Swift.
Olivia Rodrigo does it, right?
I don't know.
I think so.
I know The Weeknd does. The Weeknd does it. I know plenty of other shows have done it too. But yeah, Coldplay have been really like... I mean, other than like K-pop shows, because like they have the light sticks. But like, I think you have to buy those. With Coldplay, it's just like, here you go, here's a wristband. And return it.
And with Coldplay, they can like program them to do such cool effects.
Yeah.
And Coldplay really is like pushing the boundary with what effects they can do in the shows too.
Yes. Yeah, especially now in the year of our Lord 2024.
Yeah, but even then, like they talk about, like even then in 2023, they were like at the cutting edge of the lights, and they've just gotten cooler and cooler and more intricate.
Yeah. Speaking of intricate designs, the hearts are really special. The hearts during Human Heart. And as I said, there's even cooler effects now. But okay, this is our only gripe with Shaheem. All right, so the first, A Sky Full of Stars, in the first show, they had to stop because there was an accident where Shaheem missed a wristband cue and Chris made them start again. But Chris happened to really enjoy that, and now he does it all the time.
Put your phones in your pocket, your hands in the sky, and that's how we're gonna make the whole world fly!
Yeah, so we get that every night now.
Instead of humankind.
Yeah.
Instead of ColdplayXTRA.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shaheem, look, bud, we adore you.
You know what? No, okay, listen, I'm not gonna blame Shaheem too much, because, like, an accident is an accident. I'm just gonna blame Chris.
Well, yeah, we gotta blame Chris for everything. Actually, Shaheem, you're off the hook.
Yeah, why did Chris have to like it?
Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah. Shaheem, by the way, you should come be on our podcast.
Yes, please. Actually, like, we're so serious right now.
We would interview you, and we're funny and cool people.
Yeah, I think.
You're a funny and cool person.
Anyway. Other notable things about the documentary, Light Club was called the Space Rave, which is really funny, and also very true. It is pretty much a space rave.
Yeah.
I think they should actually change their name from Light Club to Space Rave.
I think they should just have a space rave party.
Which they do. It's a Light Club.
No, but like a party where everyone dresses up in alien costumes.
I think that's like the next step in Moon Lounge.
Oh, we should go to Moon Lounge.
Yeah, we should. But turn it into a space rave.
And you already got the hat for it.
I do.
Everyone wears cowboy hats to raves.
Wow, what a clip. Also, everybody loves People of the Pride. That was like everyone's favorite moment.
So real for them. So real to them.
Yeah, love People of the Pride.
People of the Pride.
And you know what? Overall, Coldplay, they have the best crew. We love y'all. We love the roadies. And also, very important, that the number one rule for roadies is don't poop on the tour bus.
Yeah. Don't do it.
Don't be like the Dave Matthews Band, alright?
Oh, God. We won't provide context for that. You can look it up if you want.
Yeah. That's probably why that rule exists.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Alright, in other news, they have announced yet another version of the Moon Music album you can buy. If you're Monica, you've already bought it.
Woohoo!
It's a zoetrope record. Very cool looking. There's a video of it spinning on the record player, and I want it so bad. I haven't been paid yet, but hopefully when I get paid, there will still be some to order.
Yeah.
But there was a limited amount made, and it's also an indie store exclusive. As far as we could tell, the link Coldplay posted just straight up doesn't work.
It works now.
Oh.
Yeah, it works now. But I mean, I just bought it directly from Cactus Music in Houston. Shout out. Also, shout out to, I think, Vinyl. Vinyl Edge. Also, that's in the Heights. Shout out Houston.
Yeah, so for our very few Houston listeners, that's where you can order it. And for everyone who's listening from Munich still, find your own.
Because it was available through, God, I forgot what it was, but Coldplay posted it. It for everyone like in Europe and the UK and around the world, it was available on this one website.
Oh, okay.
And there was only 5,000 made. It's already sold out.
Ah.
Yeah, but I don't know, get a VPN or something, and buy it from a US store. Amoeba is pretty big. Support Cactus Music in Houston because I really like them. Yeah, I'm sure you can find a place in America or Canada that is selling it. It won't be cheap. The shipping won't be cheap. We gotta be so real with y'all, but...
Get a U.S. homie who can mail it to you.
Yeah. hit me up.
Yeah, email us at weeklycoldplay@gmail.com. And if you say something nice about the show, we'll help mail you whatever U.S. merch you're buying.
Yeah. We'll try to hook you up.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
Why not? Honestly, so serious about that.
Yeah.
Also, in news for this week, Guy did an interview with FM 104. It's a lot of the same stuff that they've all been saying in these interviews lately. But they asked about We Pray, and Guy talked about how cool it was, that it was this huge collaboration between a lot of people. One of the things Guy talks about is how when they first started touring, they'd like had their first album, Parachutes, and it was all like acoustic and quiet, and they were like, oh, this isn't loud enough. So then they really amped it up with A Rush of Blood to the Head. Shout out Will, who gets to hit the drums hard now on Politic. This is enrichment time.
Yeah.
That and Viva La Vida. And he said people like to come and sing with us, talking about collaborators. Which, I don't know. Just the way he phrased that is really nice. Like, people do like to come and sing with them.
Yeah. It's kind of funny how, like, because, like, the way that you said it was just, like, kind of, like, really humble.
Yeah.
You know? Of just, like, oh, wow, people still, you know, want to sing with us and still like the band and whatever. It's like, yeah, you're, like, literally one of the biggest bands in the world. Like, of course, people are going to want to sing with Coldplay. But, yeah, I just, I like them a lot.
It is cool what a huge range of collaborators have gone and sung with Coldplay.
Oh, yeah.
Like, even recently.
Yeah.
I don't know. You just get all kinds of people, including people you wouldn't expect. Like, when I talk to people who don't know much about Coldplay and I mention they did a song with BTS, everyone goes, what? Yeah. That's all. That's just a really cool thing about Coldplay. He also said he's excited about Moon Music. I would hope so. Yeah. We're all excited about Moon Music.
Yep.
But yeah. He also said that the Glastonbury show is one of the only shows that he has looked up a video of and watched. So, and what he said about that show was he is amazed at how much stuff explodes above his head.
Imagine how we feel, Guy.
Yeah. Also, we talked earlier about how Chris went swimming in a river in Munich. Guy was apparently there also.
I know.
Finally, like a sweet note to end the interview, Guy was asked about if they're still, like, really close after all this time together, if they can still, like, joke around together. And he says, really, he feels like the band has only gotten closer over the years, which is really rare and really special. And he said specifically, we're a band of brothers. You know, brothers since 1997. I'm so normal about that Instagram post.
So, to end out the Dublin shows, Chris... There was a photo of Chris just sitting alone in Dublin.
All his friends left.
Yeah.
He looks so lonely.
I know. But also,
Burna Boy, Teeny, and Eliana and Little Sims need to come back and hang out with him again. I know.
And the rest of the band as well.
Oh, yeah, them too. Sorry, those are the brothers, and I'm focusing on the gang.
Ah, I see.
Yeah.
Right now, available on streaming services, the teeny version of We Pray, is available to listen to. We thought that it was going to be Teeny, Eliana, maybe even the question mark version, but no, it just ended up being just the Teeny one today.
Perhaps by the time this episode comes out, there will be more out.
Yeah.
I'm still not sure what they're doing.
Yeah.
Maybe they're doing, like, one a day. Which I can see the appeal of that, like, release one on streaming, release the video from the streets in Dublin, and then, like, end with the question mark and be it. Because that is a cool promo thing for We Pray. It obviously, like, definitely has the capability to become, like, a trend on TikTok of, like, you can use that as a sound and then have people making their own verses. Yeah. Like, hopefully this can actually promote Moon Music.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
And then, speaking of Teeny, there was a reel of Teeny performing her verse on the street in Dublin. I mean, that's all. She's just really cool.
Yeah, rad as hell. Yeah. Love her verse.
Yeah. And then lastly, the other day, Chris had posted a video of him literally just going on and on, yapping about Moon Music.
Doing what he does best.
Yeah, because Phil told him to explain himself about the Notebook version. So he's mostly I want to say that he's mostly talking about the Notebook version.
That's not true.
There's air quotes about that. Chris is just going on and on. He's talking about the nonsense that he comes up with. Well, and then somehow...
The songs just come to him.
Yeah. But you're going to see all the nonsense part of the Notebook version, which, you know...
He does a very bad job of promoting the Notebook version, where he's just like, yeah, it's full of all the stuff that wasn't very good. So that's what you're getting.
Yeah, exactly. Which is just really, really funny. It basically, I know that we mentioned this before, but it's basically the Milo Xyloto pop-up album that came out, you know, when Milo Xyloto came out. That had pretty much Chris's journal and, you know, when they were recording stuff and all that. I think it's going to be similar, but I think it might be a little bit more in depth, especially that we're actually going to get real demos on this as well, which is like super like...
Yeah, not just demos, but like phone recordings.
Yeah, which is like, I mean, if you've known Chris for a very long time, known this band for a very long time, you know that's a big no-no for Chris. He does not like to share that kind of stuff, so I'm kind of surprised that he got convinced to do this, and, you know.
He was probably, like, held at gunpoint.
But yeah, that's the news.
That's the news. Alright, and moving on to tour notes, we've got the one show to talk about, Dublin Night 4. Final show of this leg of the tour, and then we've got to wait all the way until the end of October when they'll be in Melbourne and playing again. So a bit of a dry spell, but it was a very cool note to go out on. First off, for songbook, they did a cover of "Don't Forget Me" by Maggie Rogers. They did with Maggie Rogers, pulled her out on stage.
Yeah,
very cool. And then they played "We Pray" once again, and this time they got Abby Coulibaly, who is from Dublin, and she joined them for We Pray. She did the piano la la la's with Chris. She did her own verse. They actually told her day of that she was going to be doing this.
That's crazy.
And then she had to quickly write a verse hours before the show, and then couldn't remember it perfectly, so she also improvised bits of it.
That's
Unfortunately, I haven't been able to find a video because I really want to hear her verse. I've only heard like the very end bit of her verse.
Yeah,
because most of the videos are just of her doing la la la.
Yeah. So if you have a video, email us weeklycoldplay at gmail.com.
Yeah. But it's just really cool that she got to do that, especially in her hometown. And she's been opening for them like the past 3 days. In her social media posts, she talks about how cool it is to be like supporting her favorite band. Anyway, Coldplay is cool.
Yeah. I want to support Coldplay, but it's just the podcast. We just record the podcast as opening act.
We could do that.
Yeah.
And then we get like all the audience in on it.
Yeah, why not?
Why not? They had David Rossi for Sunrise. On C Stage, they did Crazy World with Aslan again. And for the closer, they played All My Love, featuring just Chris, all by himself. He really wasn't kidding when he said, you're not supposed to hear this till September, because September hits and now he's playing it. We got All His Love. And the thing is, there's no other songs being cut out. They're just like adding Moon Music songs.
Which is so surprising to me. I don't know. Again, like the Melbourne shows and all the Oceania shows are just going to be, obviously, after the release of Moon Music. So I'm just curious, what Music of the Spheres songs are getting taken out? Humankind. And what...
Don't say that. Don't put that out there.
It already has
happened.
Don't put that out
there.
It already happened.
Okay, but now they're changing the set list. That's our chance, Monica.
And then what Moon Music stuff is fitting in, and if this is the finalized version, I doubt it's going to be the finalized version. I feel like the reason why they were probably sound checking it in Singapore, I'm a Mountain, the reason why they were probably sound checking I'm a Mountain in Singapore was probably to hear what it sounds like in a stadium. That's my 2 cents, at least. Is that a spoiler? Is that speculation? I don't know. But you heard it here first.
All right, and this is the part of the show where, since we have no sponsors, instead we highlight a different charity every month. As we've already mentioned, during this episode. Our charity of the month this month is Global Citizen. They have 3 main, like, goals or, like, tenants, I guess. And so today I'm going to put a little spotlight on their first one, defend poverty. So extreme poverty is a global issue. It's affecting 1.5 billion people who are trapped in this extreme poverty. And when you grow up trapped in extreme poverty, there's often no way to escape from it on your own. That is a situation you are either born into or thrust into due to powers beyond your control, and that is not something that you can get yourself out of. And it's such a huge, widespread issue. It's very easy to feel hopeless about it, to think, what can I do? There's no way I can have any effect. But there is ways that we as global citizens can try to take action. One of the biggest ways is pressure governments globally to increase international aid and back different programs that fight poverty and support impoverished people, to provide things like electricity, food, nutritional supplements for children, life-saving healthcare. All of these things are essential to transform people's lives and provide them with new hope and opportunities that wouldn't be available. I think it is really cool how Global Citizen focuses on the fact that this is an issue that should be central to everyone on the planet. And it is an issue that there are things we can do about, that our governments can do things about. There is enough food to feed everyone. There is enough surplus money that we could provide important basic necessities to everyone who needs it. So it is just very important that we keep putting the pressure on our respective governments and on just people in power across the world to fight poverty and support our fellow global citizens.
Yeah. And I also just want to tag on, just to kind of remind everybody that the Global Citizen Festival is coming up in September. And you can get free tickets through the Global Citizen app, as we said earlier. You can take actions on the app. The actions gain points, and you could use that points towards entries to get free tickets to the festival, which is super cool. And also, you're helping out, the world, the global citizens, and as well as, you get cool stuff out of it. Now, this would be the part of the show where, we would have spoilers and speculation, but as we said earlier, I think the closer that we're getting to Moon Music, the less spoilers and speculations we're gonna have, because it's becoming more real. I can't believe it's becoming more real. It's, I've waited for this album for so long.
We're at less than a month now.
I know, that's so crazy. But yeah, thank you for listening to this week's episode. Thank you for listening at all. My name is Monica.
My name is still Daniel.
And we are Weekly Coldplay. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to Weekly Coldplay. For more Coldplay content from us, check us out on Twitter at Weekly Coldplay and Instagram at weekly.coldplay. That is weekly, Coldplay. And if you like what you hear, give us a follow on wherever you're listening to this podcast on. Thank you again, and we'll be back next week with more Coldplay news.